Compton Rick Rock TV. Let's get to the content.
Everybody remembered that day at the Marathon store when Nipsey Hussle life was tooken. It was a couple of guys that was with him. When them shots ran off, we seen a couple of guys run in different directions. One of those guys was Nipsey Hussle partner, man. And this is his first time speaking out since that incident. We all been wanting to hear more than what we have been hearing so far. Finally, we got somebody that was there telling his side of the story and what he felt that day. I'm not going to waste nobody else's time. The man standing next to Nipsey Hussle when he died finally speaks out. Let's go over here and check this out. Let's go.
I'm the one that said go to Melrose. I was mad we was still on Christian Slauson. I'm like, cut this shit gonna go bad. Oh, let's just leave. Let's leave, bro. I had been saying that shit. Oh, hood, I knew that shit gonna happen, Nick. I knew it was only a matter of time, Nick. Oh, hood, nigga. Only reason why Nick was there that day, because he didn't want nothing bad to happen to his homies. He didn't want nothing bad to happen to his brother. He didn't want nothing bad to happen to me. He didn't want nothing bad to happen to none of his niggas that he knew was gonna be there, and it happened because of some shit he was involved in. Nigga, I want to know the truth, and I figured that out on my own. Well, you know what, man? I don't want me to tell the truth, to be honest with you.
Nipsey Hussle's close friend Rimpaul has finally spoken out. And this is not just some random interview. This is one of those moments where somebody who has been quiet for years finally lets the pressure spill out. Because for a long time, Rimpaul's name has been attached to one of the most painful days in hip-hop history. The day Nipsey Hussle was taken out outside the Marathon clothing store. And for years, fans had questions. Why did Rimpaul run? Why didn't he say more? Why didn't he testify? Why did he stay quiet while the internet built its own story around him? And now, Rimpau is basically saying, y'all don't know the full story. But the crazy part is, he is not just defending himself. He is admitting regret. He is saying mistakes were made. He is saying he learned a hard lesson. He is saying he has been carrying trauma. And he is also saying he wants credit for being there before the world even knew what the marathon was. So today, we are going to break down what Rimpaul said, why it matters, why people are reacting so strongly, and how this connects back to Nipsey, Black Sam, All Money In, and the questions fans have had since 2019.
All right. He said, I told him, let's go, man. Let's get up out of here, man. Let's take this to Melrose, man. We've been here too long. I be feeling like that sometimes when I be in spots like, man, let's get up out of here. We've been here too long. We waiting on the police to come and jack us up, or we waiting for some rivals to come and wet us up. You know, he said he felt like he was protecting his family. And like he say, man, he was there to handle some other business that he got himself involved in. Probably was his reason for being there. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of this.
Now, first, let's be clear. Rimpaul was not just some random person around Nipsey. His real name is Evan McKenzie, but most people know him as Rimpaul. Public court coverage described him as one of Nipsey Hussle's close friends. He was reportedly a pallbearer at Nipsey's funeral. And on the day Nipsey was shot, Rimpaul was one of the people standing close to him. That is why his name always carried weight in this story. Because when you are close to somebody in their final moments, people are going to want to know what you saw, what you felt, and why you moved the way you moved.
It's me and Rollo at my mama's house doing the same shit we was doing when we were 15 years old. And it was done with cripping. Cut tired of cripping and hustling and do whatever the he was doing with the homies and shit. Big U, all that. Cut was tired of that shit. Cut came back to his real homies. Yeah, let's do the marathon. Yeah, and they got that cheap ass studio in Alvarado, ratchets and roaches and shit in that. Made marathon. I made long days, late nights. Copy made American Dream, American Pie on Crip, nigga. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Put BH on his first song album. Yeah, taught him how to record himself. What'd he do? Teach Pac-Man how to record himself. Then what he do? Turn Conrad and Newport up. Yeah, nigga, my lineage, nigga. That's my sauce. That's my game. I share with my. I took to the lake for real, nigga.
And silence can be dangerous on the internet because when you do not tell your story, people will tell it for you.
You could see the pain in him. You could hear the pain up in him. He kind of almost looked like Nipsey, but just a little bit more stressed out. I would be stressed too if I lost my best friend. We was on our way to the top. about to see the millions and millions of dollars, and then a tragedy like this happen. And the only thing you could think is like, man, I said, man, let's roll, let's go, let's get up out of here. And when this happened, yeah, man, this is first time speaking out, man.
And that is exactly what happened. For years, the narrative around Rimpaul was simple. People said he ran. People said he left Nipsey. People said he should have done more.
He didn't have no pistol. What you think he's supposed to do? Sit there and get popped next? He ain't got no strap. It's clear that they didn't have no strap from at least what we seen. I don't know what they had on them, but the reason for them running is the only thing I could think of. We ain't got no pistol. Ain't no need for me to sit right where I'm supposed to do, dive on him and take the shots. Y'all know how this stuff go, man.
People said he was not solid, and Rimpaul finally sounds like he is tired of hearing it. Now, one of the biggest things Rimpaul says is that the main thing people can really hold against him is that he was not prepared that day. And that is important, because instead of acting like he did nothing wrong, he basically admits he made a mistake. He says he learned from it. He says it was a hard lesson, and you can hear the regret in the way he speaks. He's not sitting there like somebody who does not care. He sounds like somebody who has replayed that day in his head over and over again. But at the same time, he's pushing back on the idea that the whole story should fall on him. And that is where this gets complicated, because fans are looking at it emotionally. They are thinking, that was Nipsey Hussle. Somebody should have protected him. But Rimpaul is looking at it like, y'all were not there. Y'all do not know what happened. Y'all do not know what I have done for these people before that day. And that is the tension in this whole story. The fans want accountability, Rimpaul wants understanding, and somewhere in the middle is the pain of losing Nipsey. Now, Rimpaul also talks about being around from the beginning. This is where the story gets deeper, because according to what he is saying, he was not just somebody who came around after Nipsey became famous. He says he was there during the early creative stages. He talks about being in rooms, making music, building ideas, being part of those early marathon days, and helping people around Nipsey figure things out creatively. He is basically saying, before all the money, before all the fame, before everybody loved the brand, I was there. And that is a power. Because when somebody feels forgotten, they do not just want money. Sometimes they want acknowledgement. Sometimes they want people to say, you were there, you helped, you mattered. And that sounds like a big part of what Rimpaul is dealing with. He feels like he gave blood, time, loyalty, creativity.
We want to hear more of what happened at that store. I hope we get to some of that. This is my first time looking at this, but I want to hear from out of him what happened that day at the Marathon store.
And years to that movement. But now, the only thing people remember is the worst day. That is a heavy thing. Imagine being around somebody for years, helping build something, going through real street situations, traveling, creating, surviving, and then the internet only knows you as the person who ran when Nipsey got shot. That does not mean fans cannot question him, but it does explain why he sounds so frustrated. Now, another major part of what Rimpaul said involves Black Sam. And this is delicate, because Black Sam is Nipsey's brother. Fans respect Black Sam. A lot of people look at Sam as the person protecting Nipsey's legacy the right way. He is not loud. He is not clout chasing. He moves private. So when Rimpaul brings up Black Sam, people are automatically going to pay attention. But from what Rimpaul is saying, it sounds like he is not trying to disrespect Sam. It sounds more like he wants Sam's blessing before he tells his full story. He basically says he does not want to go to platforms like Vlad or Adam 22 and talk about private hood politics. He says he wants to do it the right way. He wants to respect Nipsey. He wants to respect the family. And he wants to make sure if he tells his story, it does not look like he is using Nipsey's name for money. That part matters, because one of the easiest things people could accuse him of is clout chasing. But Rimpaul is saying he did not run out and drop music about Nipsey right after he passed. He did not jump on every interview platform. He says he has been quiet for years, and now he is finally speaking because the comments, the disrespect, and the rumors have gotten to a point where he feels like he has to defend his name.
He ain't got to defend his name. What he got to defend his name for? He was there. It wasn't his job. They were supposed to have security there, armed security. Even if he had a pistol and he would have shot back an unalived old boy, he'd be doing life in the penitentiary. Instead of having paid security there, and everything would have been all right. Licensed, off-duty officers, whatever. They ain't gonna get no time. All right, let's get back to this.
This is what makes this video different. This is not just a man telling a story. This sounds like a man trying to clear his name without crossing a line he cannot come back from. Now let's talk about the part that may hit people the hardest. Rimpaul says he watched his friend die. That sentence right there explains a lot. Because fans lost Nipsey too. The world lost Nipsey. Hip-hop lost Nipsey. Los Angeles lost Nipsey. But the people who were actually there lost him in a way most people cannot fully understand. They did not just hear the news. They saw it. They lived it. They heard the chaos. They felt the panic. And then they had to live with the replay. So when Rimpaul talks about PTSD, when he talks about changing after certain moments, when he talks about being on substances, when he talks about people not checking on him, you can tell this is bigger than internet comments. This sounds like somebody who has been dealing with trauma, guilt, anger.
He's seen his friend pass away in front of him. He probably seen other friends pass away. Went to multiple funerals. He's supposed to feel this way.
And abandonment all at the same time. Now that does not mean every single thing he says is perfect. It does not mean fans have to agree with everything. But it does mean people should be careful acting like this is a simple story. Because it is not. This is grief. This is survivor's guilt. This is street politics. This is loyalty. This is public judgment. And this is a man who feels like the people who know the truth let the internet disrespect his name for years.
All right, let me see. Is it any parts on here where Rimpaul is talking? If not, we just gonna let it play out and see.
That is why this is such a strong follow-up. Because Rimpaul is not just saying, leave me alone. He is saying, y'all do not know who I was to Nipsey. Y'all do not know what I gave. Y'all do not know what I survived. Y'all do not know what really happened behind the scenes. And whether people believe him or not, that is the part everybody is going to debate. Now, one of the most important things Rimpaul says is that he had closure with Nipsey. He says him and Nipsey were on good terms before Nipsey passed. And that is powerful, because when someone dies, one of the hardest things people deal with is wondering where they...
You feel me? I'm hood, nigga. I check in with all my homies though too, yeah. I call niggas and shit, see if niggas good, nigga. I'm hood, and if I had money, I'll give niggas money. I don't give a fuck, nigga. I love my niggas unconditionally, nigga. But not one of you fans and one of you motherfucking weird people don't never forget that shit. Oh, Crip, nigga.
They stood with that person. Did we leave things right? Did they know I loved them? Did they know I respected them? Did we have unfinished issues? And Rimpaul is saying he did not have to wonder about that. He says he knows how Nipsey felt about him. He says that gives him confidence to keep going. That is probably the most human part of this whole situation. Because underneath all the street talk, underneath all the comments, underneath all the anger, that is a friend talking about another friend.
I wouldn't even pay attention to no comments. That's my homie. I ain't got it. I don't care what these people talking about. They knew what it was. Him and Nip knew what it was.
And that is why the story still hits. Nipsey was not just a rapper. Nipsey was somebody's brother, somebody's father, somebody's partner, somebody's friend, somebody's homie. And for Rimpaul, this is not just a headline from 2019. This is a personal wound that never fully closed. Now, we also have to address the court side. During Eric Holder's trial, Rimpaul's name came up because he was considered an eyewitness. Public reports said he ignored subpoenas and a bench warrant was issued before prosecutors later moved forward without needing his testimony. That part is one of the reasons fans questioned him so hard. Because in the public's mind, they were thinking, if you were there, why not testify? But this case was wrapped in street politics from the beginning. The whole motive prosecutors pointed to involved a conversation about paperwork. So you already had a case where the word cooperating carried a lot of weight. And when you mix that with grief, fear, mistrust of the court system, and the reality of how certain neighborhoods handle these situations, it becomes more complicated than people online want to admit. That does not mean people cannot ask questions, but it does mean the answers are not always going to be clean. And that is why Rimpaul speaking now matters. Because for years, people only had pieces. They had court reports, they had rumors, they had fan theories, they had comments, but they did not really have Rimpaul explaining what was going on inside his own head. Now they do. And what he is showing is pain. He is showing anger. He is showing regret. He is showing pride. He is showing loyalty. And he is showing frustration that people reduced his entire relationship with Nipsey to.
And I love all my niggas unconditionally. I don't give a fuck how they feel about me. They probably love me. I'm not delusional. I'm hood. I'm not finna sit up here and say and feel like niggas don't like me. Nobody love me. I'm not that type of hood. That's why that's why I posted all that shit I just posted. I'm hood. I want niggas to know. On hood, I've been being quiet. I've been biting my tongue for niggas. On hood, I ain't gonna lie. I texted, don't reply. On hood, so on hood, I can't say nothing about the hood though. It's a lot of things I just can't say. I ain't did no interviews. I don't do interviews on Merc. On Merc, on hood, and on Merc.
The part that might make this story.
All right, well, at least he kept it solid. He said, man, I ain't doing no interviews. I ain't talking about it. I ain't got nothing to say about it. He said all he had to say in the beginning of the video. I told everybody, let's go. Let's get up out this spot, man. Something gonna happen. Did he know something was gonna happen? Let's see.
Story even bigger is that Rimpaul says he wants to tell the story in his own documentary. That is huge, because if Rimpaul really does a documentary, that could reopen a lot of conversations around Nipsey's final years, All Money In, the early marathon days, and what really happened behind the scenes. But he also says he wants to do it respectfully. He wants to tell his story. He wants his friends to tell theirs. He wants to document it, and he wants people to understand the history. That tells me he knows the story has value, but he also knows it is sensitive, because if he says too much, people are going to accuse him of disrespecting Nipsey. If he says too little, people are going to say he's hiding something. That is a tough position to be in, and that is why the Black Sam blessing matters, because if Sam signs off, people may receive it differently. But if Rimpaul goes rogue, like he hinted at, then the internet is going to treat it like drama, and that could turn ugly fast, because anything involving Nipsey's name gets emotional. Fans are protective, the family is protective, the community is protective, and Rimpaul is protective of his own name. So this could either become a respectful documentary that adds context, or it could become another messy internet debate. Now, here's my honest take. Rimpaul's message has 3 layers. The first layer is regret. He knows people blame him for not being prepared that day, and he is not running from the fact that he learned a hard lesson. The second layer is frustration. He feels like people who know his history have allowed strangers online to disrespect him. He feels like nobody defended him the way he expected. And the third layer is legacy. He wants people to know he was part of the foundation. He wants people to know he was there before the fame. He wants people to know he did not just pop up after Nipsey became Nipsey Hussle to the world. And when you put all of that together, you get a man who is not just trying to clear his name. He is trying to be remembered correctly. That is why the comments got to him. Because to him, the comments are not just jokes. They are erasing years.
I wouldn't care about them comments. But anyway, man, y'all can go over here. What's this, man? IDNTV and watch the rest of this. I'm pretty sure there's other videos where Rimpaul, y'all could go online. Matter of fact, let me get y'all to this channel. Hold on 1 second. All right, so this is the channel, IDNTV. Y'all go over there and subscribe to that. Check out the rest of that video. I'm pretty sure it's more videos online with Rimpaul talking, saying what he got to say. We're going to have to just look for him. We're going to have to wait and see what we come up on. But he definitely was there the day that Nipsey Hussle lost his life. We heard what he said. This is first time speaking since 2019, like he stressed. Been through a lot, and he's holding in a lot. He might feel like, man, I ran, you know, like I say, man, they were supposed to have armed security. I don't blame you for running. I'm not fit to sit there while somebody's shooting and wait for me to get unalived next. There's nothing I could do. I don't have a pistol. Shots going off. The first thing I'm gonna do is worry about myself before anybody else. Yeah, that's the homie, but self-preservation come first. Leave y'all thoughts in the comment section. What do y'all think? Subscribe to the channel. We almost at 90,000 subscribers. It's Compton Rick Rock with Compton Rick Rock TV. I catch all of y'all on the next one.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Compton Rick Rock TV. Also, hit that notification bell and catch every video when I drop.